I'm Paul Meyer with High Sierra Workshops. What is the aperture? Technically, this is the mechanism inside the camera that allows you to change the amount of light passing through the lens by changing the size of the opening. Think of it as functioning like a valve on a water pipe. Wide open or opening up means more light is coming into the lens. Closing or restricting the valve using a smaller aperture, also called stopping down, allows less light into the lens. Typically in a broad example, when you have bright conditions, lots of light, you use smaller apertures, stopped down. And when you're in low light situations, you use a wider aperture or open up. The aperture size is described by the term f-stop. The f-stop is a numerical value indication that is relative to the size of the lens opening. The common full stop numbers are 1.4, 2, 2.8, 4, 5.6, 8, 11, 16, 22, and 32. Here's where apertures and f-stops could get a little confusing. A smaller f-stop number, such as 2.8, actually has a larger opening, allowing in more light. Likewise, a larger f-stop, such as f22, has a smaller opening, allowing less light. Don't worry if you're confused. Trust me that this will become second nature over time. So what do these f-stop numbers mean? Well, changing the f-stop, for example, from f16 to f22 is one stop of light change. Now, each change of one stop is either half or twice the amount of light from the previous f-stop. For example, if you're at f8 and go to f11, you just cut the amount of light going through the aperture by half. And if you go from f8 to 5.6, you just doubled the amount of light going through the aperture. Changing the aperture also affects the depth of field, which is how much of the scene going from front to back is in focus. We'll talk more about depth of field in an upcoming episode. The last point I want to touch on is that most DSLR cameras, with each click of the aperture dial, it's not one stop, but actually 1/3 stop of light change. So every 3 clicks is one full stop. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode of HSW.tv.